Let's go Seahawks. Preseason game number 1 was done last night. Done and over with. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Talk about the upcoming season. And let's get to it. What's good, YouTube? What is good? This is your boy, Thomas, from the Bronx. And as you know, I am from the Bronx, but I am a big Seattle Seahawks fan. Here in the Bronx, in New York City, we have 3 football teams pretty much in the state of New York. One plays in the state of New York up in Buffalo, New York, which is like 6 hours away. And then you have 2 that represent New York City but play in the state of New Jersey right over the George Washington Bridge there. But me growing up, I am a huge Seahawks fan, and last night was the first game of, for the 2023 season, preseason number 1. So the Seahawks played the Vikings, and they were victorious 24-13. Not too big on preseason because preseason doesn't count. It's all about, trying out for the team, guys, see who's going to be first string, second string, stuff like that, going through the motions, getting your timing right, feeling the contact, going through the motions, etc., etc. On the screen, you will see one of Seattle's top draft picks this past season. It is running back out of UCLA, Zach Charbonnet. I hope I'm saying his name right. I did the best I could. But Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA, originally from the University of Michigan, where I actually saw him live when I went to go see Notre Dame play Michigan back in 2018. He was a freshman, and I'm a big Notre Dame fan. Michigan kicked our ass. It was like 40-something to like very little. It was a blowout. But I got to see Zach in person the day before. He was there. We saw the students, the student players get on the bus, and he was there. A friend of mine, his son, I think, got to meet him, take a picture with him. And in the game, he scored 2 touchdowns. I'm really excited for the kid. I like the kid. I think he looked well last night. He ended up with 4 carries for 14 yards. And 2 catches for 14 yards as well, but it was the way he looked off the line of scrimmage, the way he was, exchanging the contact, like guys were bouncing off of him. He looked really good, and he was coming off an injury that I didn't even think he was going to play in the preseason game. So I'm really excited for this kid in the upcoming season. He's going to be a good complement running back to Kenneth Walker, who's coming into his second year. Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State had a very good rookie season last year. He came into the season last year not as a starter. He came behind Penny, and Penny, as you know, if anybody knows Penny, he's injury prone and he got hurt again. And Walker then became the starter. And I thought he had a great year for a rookie, and I look for good things again this season, and with Charbonnet as a good compliment to him. Also we got DJ Dallas still there, who's also a good serviceable back as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about the game. Here I am, Big Tom. By the way, my apologies. Shout out to my TWT family. You know what I'm saying? We are TWT. I didn't get my shout in the beginning, but I did do the intro as well. But anyway, let's get to it real quick. I don't want to be too long. Just want to talk a little bit about the game because it's only preseason. Nobody really cares. I care. Seahawks fans care because they want to see how certain players do. One thing I will talk about real quick is that Drew Lock, the backup coming into the season to Geno Smith, played most of the game. He played pretty much most up mostly three quarters. I think he played a little bit of the fourth quarter as well. He threw 2 touchdowns in the game. And, 2 touchdowns, you think that's pretty good. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I did not like what I see. Drew Lock, typical quarterback with a great arm, and he shows signs of it. It comes off his arm. I think he has a great arm. He throws a good ball, but his reaction time, to me, looked terrible. He looked better in the third quarter when the Vikings put in, more of their third and fourth string guys playing. Then he threw a terrible interception that just made me shake my head. So, guys that get on my boy Geno and they say, oh, you got Geno Smith as a quarterback. Geno Smith was a Pro Bowl quarterback last year. And he had a great season, especially for a guy that hadn't started. He started the year before a few games, but hasn't been the number one guy for years. And he's been the backup quarterback, ever since he left the Jets. He backed up. I believe he backed up in San Diego for Rivers. And then he was a backup quarterback to Russell Wilson. So now he got a shot last year, had a great season. Seattle wasn't really picked to make the playoffs last year. They weren't picked to go over 500. And what happened? 9-8, made the playoffs. Yes, we lost to the dreaded, most hated, in my opinion, and to me, the Niners in the playoffs, but we weren't supposed to be there. And we looked good for at least a half of football. We had the lead at the halftime, and then it kind of went down from there. But I expect big things from Geno Smith, and we hope and pray he doesn't get hurt because the backup Drew Lock, not too happy with. And I don't really feel confident in Drew Lock. A quick note, we had another quarterback play, Holton Ahlers. I don't know much about him. I just know he's from East Carolina. He looked good, but like I said, it was the fourth quarter playing against third, fourth string guys, maybe fifth string guys that probably won't make the team for the Vikings. He threw a touchdown. The thing that impressed me, he was running the ball well. He ran for like 26 yards on like 2 carries, I think it was, maybe 2 or 3 carries. And he looked good running the ball. I was like, wow, but I don't expect anything from him. But just a quick note on him. He looks to be the third string quarterback, or maybe he's just there, maybe to, see if he makes the team or whatever the case be. But he's out of East Carolina, rookie, undrafted rookie that played last night. Back to Geno. Geno should have another good year because the team is built for him, to look good. We have DK Metcalf, which is one of the most exciting receivers in football, and then he's got a good complement in my favorite receiver in Lockett. I think Lockett is phenomenal. I think he runs great routes. He's quick off the line of scrimmage. He has great hands. He hardly will drop a pass for you. And then we made a draft. We made a good draft pick. We drafted the kid from Ohio State. Forgive me if I get his name wrong, Jackson Smith Njigba. And he actually played last night. He was the only receiver of the 3 that actually got to play. He had 3 catches for 25 yards. He looked good. One thing you look for when you see these rookies play and you see these guys play is like you hope for no injuries, and you see how they react off of contact and how they react, in game situations and stuff. And his first step off the line of scrimmage. That's what I look for as far as receivers. So that leads me on to some other rookies that we have, but they did not play. Our first draft pick, Devon Witherspoon, the cornerback out of Illinois. Expecting good things from him. He was late to camp because he had some, he was the last person to sign his rookie contract, but he's in camp. He's doing well practicing, but he did not play. I look for great things for him. He compliments Tariq Woolen. That was, a great cornerback for us last year from his rookie year. So we're going to have, kind of a, nice 1-2 back there at the corners, and then they complement our safeties. We signed Julian Love from the Giants. He's going to play safety along with Diggs. And then hopefully Jamal Adams can stay healthy for a year, because Jamal Adams is such a great talent, especially when it comes to stopping the run and rushing and just, being kind of like that enforcer. You know what I'm saying? Not very good in coverage. His hands are shaky, but he is a force, and he makes you think, as a receiver and as an offensive player that like, oh, shit, Jamal Adams, So he's kind of like the enforcer. I just hope he can stay healthy. So our secondary, it's no Legion of Boom, but it's getting there, in my opinion. Like I said, everything's looking pretty good on paper. I'm going to note one more rookie we have. It's an undrafted rookie that they signed out of Middle Tennessee State, which is Jordan Ferguson. He played last night. He looked good on defensive line. He's a defensive end. He had a sack last night. He looked really strong. He looked pretty quick off the line. Undrafted free agent. They're speaking highly about him. So listen, anything to help the defense in general, because last year we was one of the worst, especially against the run. Anybody remember the Las Vegas game where we played the Raiders? That was a high-scoring game, and then we got left on the field with Jacobs sprinting in overtime for like a 60-yard touchdown. So our run defense, atrocious last year. This year, hopefully they improve. Our linebackers, much more improved. Jordan Brooks coming off an injury. Hopefully be ready to start the season. He had an ACL injury last year. So hopefully he bounced back. Biggest addition, obviously, the former captain, the former All-Pro, who was out for 1 year, my boy, Wagner, one of the best middle linebackers in football, will be back for Seattle, leading the defense. We made a new addition to the defense. We added Devin Bush from the Steelers. He's an outside linebacker. He was pretty solid with the Steelers, and I expect him to do well and complement, of course, Wagner and Brooks when he comes back. So our defense is really the key this year, and of course, Geno Smith, because the pieces to the puzzle is there. The offensive line is better. We got another skill player to complement the other two receivers in Lockett and Metcalf. We got another running back that complements Walker, who was coming off a great rookie year. So Geno has the pieces. The defense, we added some defensive line help. The linebackers are set, and of course, the secondary looks strong. So I'm not going to make a prediction now. You obviously know what my prediction is going to be because I'm a Seahawks fan. But I try not to be biased. I try to keep it real. Last year I didn't pick them to do well, right? And they surprised me. This year I may pick them to do great, and they may disappoint me, right? Real quick, I just want to add something here. I want to just play just the beginning of this so it's preseason football, right? And I love my guy, Pete Carroll. Yes, we all know about the call that was made in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, but we ain't thinking about that right now. But I still like my guy Pete Carroll. And let's just I just want to play this for y'all real quick.
Small crowd. Must be late.
Well, tonight was nothing but fun. We had a great time. It was hard getting started. You could tell that this was the first time we tackled anybody. That's why we used the preseason games, and then we needed the first quarter to kind of just shake the cobwebs or whatever. And the defense came back from the second quarter on. They played great all night long. And then those young kids did a beautiful job of playing the scheme and making the plays we needed to make. I thought all in all, it was really a really strong win for us because we can build on all of the things that happened. And the cool thing was that the young guys playing in the fourth quarter and playing well enough to win the football game and shut them down, and defense and hold the football and all of that. I thought Drew did really well tonight, did a really nice job. I believe the
You see Pete Carroll up there talking about it was fun. It's the first game. It's supposed to be fun. You just want to get it out the way, get the feel of the game. I mentioned that earlier. You just don't want to see injuries. It's true the Seattle was down for most of the game, and they came back and won. So those young players came in and outplayed the Vikings, young players, and they won the game for them, and that's always a good sign, because you're talking about competing, right? Because these guys are competing for starting jobs. Right. So, yeah, they are the lower end guys. Right. And they're not the starters. Those are stars. Right. But they're still playing as hard as they can because they're trying to make the team. So you can't really discredit them that much because the other guys, the Vikings, right, they're playing hard as well. You feel me? So, yeah, that was a little bit from my man Pete. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of ready. You see me here. Got my Richard Sherman from Super Bowl 48, the only Super Bowl we won. You know what I'm saying? Richard Sherman, Legion of Boom, Seattle Seahawk legend, you know, and we're getting ready for the season, baby. Quick reminder, every week I'm going to try to do something in regards to the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you some updates. We'll talk about the next preseason game, and as well, just stay tuned to the channel. We'll be talking all kind of sports. You know what I'm saying? We talk boxing, football, baseball. We even last week we did some wrestling. Tonight, we're going to do a little SummerSlam recap with the fellas that were with me last week, and we'll recap, and we're going to talk some fantasy football this week because the guys want to talk some football. And what's good about me and my boys and my friends is that we're all from the Bronx. We grew up, born and raised in the Bronx, New York, but not many New York fans, right? When it comes to football, at least. I mean, one of my guys is a big time Jet fan. He should be on tonight. I got my co-host, my man Big Sock. He'll be on. He's a Raider fan. Reno, also a Raider fan, but we got fans of the Eagles. We got fans of the Commanders, and don't forget my TWT family, which I also will bring in as well. My man D Free, big Commanders fan. He knows a lot about boxing and he knows a lot about football. And I believe he knows about other sports, but his football knowledge is great. Me and him kind of go at it, bump heads, because we both feel like we know a lot and we bump, but very respectful. And my man D Free, he knows his shit, you know what I'm saying? So love to have him on. I've been on his platform as well, you know what I'm saying? So look out, in the upcoming weeks. Also, on the bottom, you see my Instagram at the bottom. If you want, add me on Instagram, get to know a little bit more about myself. And if you have any ideas that you want to talk about, the show, any topics, put them in there. We'll speak about anything, especially if it's sports related. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like to talk about anything else because, this is a hobby. This is for fun. You feel me? And, but we could do that too. As long as it's fun, I'm with the jokes, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just wanted to get on here, talk a little Seattle Seahawk football for all you Seahawk fans out there. Probably not many unless you're in Seattle, but we do travel well. And there is a bar out here in New York, Carlo East, an Irish bar up on 85th in Lexington that I do go and watch the games, and it's filled with Seahawk fans. You know what I'm saying? It's not 2 or 3 fans. It'd be packed up in there. So it's a good time. And, you know what I'm saying? So maybe one day I'll go live from there and share the experience with you guys as well. So, yeah, so please, like as always, like the content, subscribe to the channel. You don't like it, dislike it, I don't care. Put a comment. Let's just keep like the algorithm going, just that people are at least looking at it. You feel me? And like I said, like, subscribe, join me on Instagram, hit me up with any topics, whatever you want to do. Last but not least, before I go to the outro, let's go Seahawks, man. For me, baseball season's over. The Yankees stink, right? We haven't really talked much about the Yankees or baseball this year because the Yankees stink. So I'm looking for football. Go Hawks, baby. Let's go Hawks. All right. Shout out TWT. And thank you for everybody that's watching. And I'll catch up with you guys a little bit later. Peace.